Welcome to Maths for All. I'm Aisling Flynn. This is exam practice. And today we have a paper 2 question from the 2020 Leaving Cert Ordinary exam, and it's question 4 and it's on the circle. Okay, so part A, the circle C has the equation x minus 1 to be squared plus y plus 4 to be squared equals 25. Find the center and radius of C. Okay, so we see there are spaces there for our answers. Now this is something we can do with very little work if we've studied the circle. If you want to jog your memory, you can look at the formula and tables book, go to coordinate geometry and go to the second page, page 19 of that. Okay, where it has information on the circle. And what you'll see here is the equation of the circle, so you should be familiar with this. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, and they tell you that the center is h, comma, k, and that the radius is r. And so here we see h should appear here, but take care, it should be the opposite sign of what the center is because the formula has a minus here. Same for k, and the r squared will be the term on the other side of the equals. Okay, so let's look at what we have. So if I do a comparison, from the formula and tables book, it was x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared, and the center was h comma k. Okay, so we can literally write down, I would transcribe this as part of my work, maybe put it in this box here to show the examiner what you're doing. So if we do a direct comparison, in the place of h we have the number 1. Okay, now I don't include the negative because that's from the formula. Okay, so it's 1, and in the place of k we have a 4, but we should call it minus 4 because minus is what results in this plus because the formula has a negative. So in short, you look at your formula, whatever appears in the bracket with the x, you take it, but you use the opposite sign. So we're using plus 1 and we're using minus 4 for k. Okay, because the formula had a negative in it. Okay, and r squared, if we do a direct comparison, is 25. So r squared is 25. What number squared gives 25? Well, we know what the answer is, but if we didn't, we could get the square root of 25. So r is 5. The radius is 5. Okay, so show whatever bit of thinking you're doing for the examiner, but if you have the correct answers, you'll get the marks. So 1 minus 4 and 5. So checking the marking scheme, we got it correct. There are 10 marks going for this part. Partial credit, you can get 5 out of 10 if you got one of the 2 parts correct. And you do get your full 10 out of 10 if you just simply write down the answers without showing your work in this case. Okay, so let's look at the next part of that question. The point 1k is on C. C was our circle. Find the 2 possible values of k. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to transcribe the equation of our circle, which if you recall was x minus 1 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 25. Okay, now if any point is on this circle, when you substitute the x and the y values given for a point, you should get left equals right. It should make it true. Okay, if the point is on the circle. Now we're told that this point here is on C. So we're going to do what we would do with any other point. Our x value is 1 and our y value is k. We're told it is on C, so it should make the equation true. So all we can do for a beginning or for a start is to substitute our value for x and y. So our x is 1, minus 1 to be squared, plus now our y is k, so replace y with k, plus 4 to be squared equals 25. Now our point is on C, so that should be true. So we're going to work with this. We do have an equation. We do have only one unknown variable, which is k, and therefore we should be able to solve it. Okay, so 1 minus 1 is 0, so 0 squared. And here we've got k plus 4 to be squared. So best thing is not to take any shortcuts. Write it out in full. K plus 4 multiplied by k plus 4 equals 25. Okay, now 0 squared is just 0, so we can forget about that. Multiplying the two brackets is a 2 by 2 multiplication, so k times k is k squared. K times 4 is plus 4k. And then go work with the 4. Plus 4 by k is plus 4k, and then 4 by 4 is plus 16. Now you can see what we're going to arrive at. It will be a quadratic equation, but let's tidy it up. Firstly, let's lead with our k squared, then our two k terms can be combined. We'll get plus 8k, and then we have plus 16. We're going to take 25 from both sides. So minus 25, so that we have everything equal to 0. This is how we usually solve our quadratic equations. Just combine the constant terms there. 16 take away 25 is minus 9 equals to 0. Okay, so you have a quadratic equation here. And we're going to solve it. We have two ways we can solve it. You can use factors, or you can use your quadratic formula, your minus b formula. It's your choice, it's not specified, but the numbers here look pretty straightforward, so I'm going to factorize. So you can pause the video here, factorize yourself. You can use your array model if that's what you're used to, or your big X. I'm just going to write down the results as I get them. Okay, so k squared is gotten by k times k, so we're factorizing the first. We're going to factorize the last, minus 9, to make the middle, which is plus 8k. So factors of 9 to make 8, so 1 times 9 or 3 times 3 are the factors of 9. 1 times 9 I'm going to choose to make 8. I have to make a plus 8, so I'm going to have minus 1 and plus 9 will give me plus 8. Okay, so I'm going to put 9 times 1. We said it'd be plus 9 and minus 1. There's my factors. Okay, the next step in solving is to put each factor equal to 0. X plus 9 equals to 0. Take 9 from both sides, we get k equals to minus 9. Or k minus 1 equals 0, add 1 to both sides, and I get k equals plus 1. So I was asked to find the two possible values of k, and I found two values there. Okay, so let us see what the marking scheme says of that. Alright, so substitution was the first method. K equals 1 and k equals minus 9. There are only 5 marks going for that, but you have to give it a go. Okay, again, you can gain partial credits for some correct work. So if you wrote down the formula with some correct substitution, you'd get 2 out of 5. If you fully substituted into the formula, you get 3 out of 5. If you got as far as your quadratic, you'd get 4 out of 5. Okay, and 5 out of 5 to finish correctly. So there's a part B to this question. And we're given the circle S, and it has an equation x squared plus y squared equals 13. The point A, which is 3 minus 2, is on S. Find the equation of the tangent of t, the tangent to the circle at point A. Give your answer in the form of ax plus by plus c equals 0. A, B and C are integers. Okay, so firstly, we're given the equation of our circle S is here. Okay, and this type of circle with just x squared plus y squared will have a center, as you can see from the picture, of 0, 0. All right, we see that here. We're given the point A on the circle and we're told that that's 3 minus 2. And we're asked to find the equation of t, which is a tangent. But a tangent is also a straight line. Okay, so here's my t, and it touches the circle at A. Okay, so we're going to need some formulas to do this. Also, we need one key piece of information. Okay, and it is a geometry theorem, and it says that the radius from the center to the point of contact is perpendicular to the tangent at that point, so it makes 90 degrees. Okay, we'll call this R for radius, this red line. Okay, and we're going to need to know a bit about that. Firstly, let us refer to our formula and tables books. We are at the end of the day going to be looking for the equation of a line, and we have a formula for that. So in the formula and tables books, on the coordinate geometry pages, okay, which is the first one is page 18, where it says line, we're looking for the equation of a line formula, which we're familiar with hopefully by now. And here it is, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we need a point on our tangent t, which we have from point A, given in the question. We'll use those coordinates as x1 and y1 for the formula. But we do also need m, which is, of course, slope. Okay, we have a formula for the equation, or for slope here, which we will use, and we don't have a slope for the tangent, but we do know that it's perpendicular to the radius that we were looking at on the previous picture. So we'll use a combination of this information to answer the question. Okay, so I'm going to transcribe those two formulas. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and our slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So as we discussed already, the point A given in the question, okay, will give us the coordinates we need for x1, y1 for our equation of the line. Okay, but how do we get the slope? We don't have another point on t to calculate slope. What we do have is 2 points on the radius, r. So that is 0, 0 and 3 minus 2. So we can calculate the slope of r, and we do know that the slope of t is perpendicular to that. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. We're going to calculate the slope of r. Let me call it mr. Okay, and we'll use A as the second point. I think it's easiest here, and we'll use 0, 0 as the first point. So starting with A, the y coordinate is minus 2 minus 0 from the center of the circle, 0, 0, and the x coordinate is 3 minus 0 from the center. And what do we get? We get minus 2 over 3. Okay, now that's the slope of the radius, and we know that that's perpendicular to the slope of t. And to get perpendicular slope, okay, we've learned that we should turn the other slope upside down and inside out. That means upside down and change the sign, and when you multiply the two you would get answer minus 1. Okay, so upside down means 3 over 2, inside out change the sign, which is minus changes to plus. Okay, if you wanted to check, minus 2 over 3 times plus 3 over 2, you get minus 6 over 6, which is minus 1. That means they're perpendicular. Okay, so now we're ready to find the equation of t using our equation of the line formula. So y minus, now we're using point A, so y minus minus 2 is the is the y coordinate from A, equals slope is 3 over 2 times x minus 3, and that 3 comes from point A. Okay, so that gives me y plus 2 equals to 3 over 2 by x minus 3. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to remove that fraction. So double the left and double the right. And on the right we get 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I have 2 times y plus 2 is equal to 3 times x minus 3. So multiplying, we get 2y plus 4 on the left equals to 3x minus 9 on the right. Now, so that is an equation. It is of an line, but we're asked to give our answer in the form of ax plus by plus c equals 0. So we're going to do a little bit of rearranging. Now I have a plus 3x here on the right, so I'm going to lead with that. So that means I'm going to remove everything from the left. Okay, so what I'm going to end up with is 0 on the left, and I'll have 3x, remove the 2y from both sides, minus 2y, I have a minus 9 there, and I'll have a minus 4. Okay, so everything goes to the right hand side. To finish, I'm going to start with 3x minus 2y, combine the numbers, minus 13 equals to 0, and that's my finished answer. That's the equation of t. Let's check our marking scheme. Okay, so we got the slope of the radius, that was right, and we got our perpendicular slope. We substituted correctly into our equation of the line formula. We doubled both sides, we got that, and then we got the correct answer. Okay, sometimes there's alternative ways. You're free to use many alternative ways, just so long as they're right, but we're not using that today. Okay, 10 marks going for this. 3 out of 5 if you put down a formula and did sum, or 3 out of 10 if you did some correct substitution. If you calculated the slopes, or even just the slope of the radius, you'd get 5 out of 10. If you fully substituted into your equation of the line formula, you get 8 out of 10. And note that the negative version, if you brought everything to the left instead of the right at one stage, and all the signs are opposite to what we presented, that's 100% mathematically correct, and you'd get 10 out of 10 as well.